All right, guys, we just dropped a truck show video, and it actually reminded me of something that I wanted to express, and I hope you guys share this on different social media platforms. We'll try to put it on our Facebook. Christian, make sure to put it on our Facebook. That's the cue for that to happen. But kind of about the younger generation. So there was a truck show over the weekend out in Tennessee, and we don't know the people that put it on directly. We know a lot of people that went, and there was a whole lot of flack about a lot of things. He had some traffic issues, other things, but shout out, looked like it was a great event, and we will try to attend next year. But in doing that, there was also a lot of comments about younger people, underage drinking and doing things, and we experienced some of that at this last local show. And it's a local show, and we don't want to come off like the dad and act like, you know, nobody's perfect. But I want to tell you, younger generation guys, something. So I was that guy. I was the guy going to those car shows. I was going to the little truck meets. We hung out at McDonald's. And back in my time, McDonald's was kind of new. So like we hung out in the McDonald's parking lot on Friday and Saturday nights. But we kept a pretty clear head. There's a lot more things in the world these days. But what I want to impress upon you younger guys, because a lot of people do look up to us, okay? You know, one, because we have developed a crazy business and have been doing this for a long time. But two, we go to events and, you know, we don't mind sharing. Somebody says, I want to sit in your truck. I want to sit in your race car. That's awesome. No problem. We love it. We absolutely love that. And I have kids and children that are in an impressionable age also. And the whole thing that I want to remind you guys is what you do today sticks with you forever. And I did not come from the, you know, kind of when you're growing up, you have, well, in my area, you had the wealthy kids that came from wealthy families. And then you had, and they were usually kind of spoiled and had nice vehicles and all that. And then you had the troublemaking kids, which, you know, came from lesser homes in some cases, and the parents didn't really care. And then you had the rednecks, I guess you'd call it, which is where I fell. That was my category. My parents weren't well off and didn't spoil us, and we had to work for things. And I was coming to work every day after school when other kids were goofing off. And I remember, and this is something that my dad said so many times, I said, so-and-so's parents, let them do it. And my dad would say, so-and-so's parents must not love them as much as we love you, because you're not doing that. And my parents ruled with a belt and everything else. So I lived through the phases of that as well. So I did not want to come home and get in trouble. I don't think I ever got in trouble to where I lost my keys or anything was really taken away from me once I was, driving age, because I appreciated my driver's license. I didn't want to get in trouble. And I realized, because I hung out with a little bit of an older crowd, that what you do today sticks with you forever. And that goes very true, guys. And the guys that were the cool kids, the kids that I wanted to inspire to be, I don't know where those guys are today. I don't keep up with them. But the ones that were troublemakers, I've seen some of them turn their lives around, have families now, and raising them in a whole different way. And there's something to be said for that. So let's walk over here. I want to show you guys something else that's kind of cool. So the fun part about our business nowadays, one is we got all kinds of cool toys and things that we can play with. And, if you're inspiring to do that, living proof here, it can happen. You can do it. But your actions will affect that. And again, kept our nose clean, stayed in school, didn't skip school, all the things the fun kids were doing. Trust me, it was tempting to always do it. But I knew if I got caught, I was in serious trouble at home. If I got caught not by my parents, double bad. I was going to be in trouble with the law and in trouble with my parents because they were going to find out. So, again, not trying to be that guy when we go to these events. I try to be the cool guy and hang out with the younger kids and do everything. But the reality is some dumb decisions are made at these events, and it really affects a lot of people. This particular event, they might not even let younger people in again. The event we came back from, it wasn't bad. The police did arrest a few people for underage drinking. There was a mess left to clean up, and I wish I had some of those pictures to drive in. It was a big mess to clean up, actually. But the track took care of it. And that's, that's what they get paid to do, but they shouldn't have to. When it's an event with adults, they use a trash can, or they don't pee in the parking lot. They go to the bathroom. So there's things that happen and take place. Is the sun bad? Need to switch? Okay. But guys, I know we have some younger people on here. I know I'm preaching to the choir on the older people. And if I am preaching to the older people that have kids that are having this problem, interact with them. Like I said, rule with an iron fist. I know it's hard to do these days. I have a 16-year-old daughter. I also have a 11-year-old stepson and a 2-year-old newborn. So I'm going through, or toddler. So I'm going to go through life with that all over again with a whole nother generation, of course. But, and lots of cousins and nieces and nephews and other things. It's impossible for me to impress upon you guys enough how things do stick with you and how anything that you want to do can be done. But also you are responsible for your actions. And again, drinking, and driving, not good. Drinking underage, not good. Smoking pot, doing all the other things the kids did and did back then. The cool kids did it. You just have to stay away from it, because sometimes you can't kick that habit. And what happens young carries on into life much further. Get yourself a good work ethic. Get yourself some money saved up. Appreciate what you've got. If you are coming from a good family, or if you are a good family with kids, just be cautious with how you take care of them, because again, that was the biggest thing. I always wanted to be the guy with the cool car. I always wanted to be the guy that could skip school. I always wanted to be the guy in the end clique. And my parents they always had different sayings, but I do remember that one. And I know all parents love their children, maybe some differently than others, but that was always my dad's statement. And it was meant to be a joke, but it's, kind of the truth. They cared a lot. They kept us in line, and it helped later in life, obviously. And again, you can't make up for time lost. You don't want to go to jail. You don't want to have a criminal record. It's going to affect you getting a job. I didn't do a criminal check on Christian. I hope he passes behind the camera. He's smiling, not frowning, so I guess he passes okay. But a little long-winded, but it is important, and these events prove that. And again, everybody needs to have a good time. There's a time and a place for it, for sure. We used to go to nexen every year. We go out on the beach and, everybody have a good time, but some people had too good of a time. Those guys got in trouble. I saw buddies of mine lose their jobs because they lost their license, so many things. One simple little decision can stick with you for the rest of your life. So remember that. And again, I am preaching a little bit to the younger generation. I was that 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kid a long time ago, but no differently. I love my big truck. I love my loud music. I was always respectful. I did get pulled over, but I kept a good driving record. I was respectful to the police officers. That goes a long way too. Just a reminder, if you're driving a truck that's modified, your chances of getting pulled over, a red sports car, your chances of being pulled over are much better. Be respectful to the cop. Getting a cool video on TikTok or Instagram because you were a POS to a police officer is only will give you fame for a small amount of time. That ticket and everything else that he's going to give you for being an ass to him is going to stick with you forever. So just remember that also. We live in a different generation. There was no social media, none, when I was coming up. There was no Instagram, no Facebook, no, what was the thing before? MySpace. There was none of that when I was coming up. There was barely cell phones, and there was pagers. So I think a lot of it got by. Social media drives a lot of it these days. Everybody wants to be the cool guy. You can be the cool guy by not being the biggest idiot out there or being the class clown. There are other ways to do it. People will respect you much more for being quiet, listening, learning, and excelling and helping others is where you'll get more ahead in life. So again, thanks guys. Be respectful. We don't want, the truck community is growing huge. We don't want it to be squashed over people making bad mistakes. And again, that other event was one of the biggest that there's been. It's all over everybody's pages. Everybody's sharing it and talking about it. So unfortunately, we had other things to do, but next year we'll probably roll out to it. We plan on hitting some other events. So we want these events to be successful, but a lot of it has to do with you guys out there and how you act. So thanks a lot. Appreciate the support.